The night was cold, darker than usual in the high mountains. Snow fell without rest, covering the ground in a thick white blanket. The wooden cabin stood alone, surrounded by tall pines that swayed in the wind. Inside the cabin, the fire in the stone fireplace cracked and hissed, throwing warm orange light across the small room. The man who lived there, quiet, solitary, and used to loneliness, sat in his old wooden chair. His name was never important to anyone. He had chosen this life far away from people, far away from the noise of cities. Up here in the mountains, he thought nothing could disturb him. But that night, something unusual happened. A sudden sound broke through the storm, a heavy crash like something falling hard into the snow outside the cabin. At first, he thought it was a tree breaking under the weight of the snow. That was common in winter storms, but the sound had a strange echo, almost like metal striking the ground. The man frowned and stood up. The cabin walls shook slightly as the wind grew stronger. For a moment, he wanted to ignore it, to stay safe inside with his fire, but something in the sound had touched his curiosity. Slowly, he walked to the door, his boots pressed against the old wooden floor, each step louder in the silence. When he opened the door, the storm rushed inside. Cold winds slapped his face, and snowflakes flew into his cabin like tiny knives of ice. He squinted into the white blur outside. At first, he saw nothing, only snow falling endlessly. Then he noticed it. A dark shape lay on the ground right in front of his cabin steps. It looked human, but not quite. The figure was small, curled in the snow, half covered by ice. For a second, he thought it might be a lost traveler. People sometimes got lost in the mountains, though it was rare to find them alive in such storms. He rushed forward, his boots sinking deep into the snow. Kneeling down, he turned the figure over. His heart stopped for a moment. It was a woman, or something that looked like one. Her skin glowed faintly in the darkness, almost like pale glass catching the firelight. Her hair was silver, shining even though no moonlight could reach through the storm. When he touched her arm, it felt like ice, colder than the snow itself. Her lips moved slightly, whispering words he did not understand. The sound was soft, almost musical, but strange, like no human language he had ever heard. Then her silver eyes opened. They stared at him for one long moment, and he felt a chill run through his body. And then she collapsed again, limp and still. The man's breath quickened. He looked around the forest, expecting to see someone else, maybe a trick, maybe some danger, but there was nothing, only the storm, the trees, and the woman at his feet. He could leave her there. He could go back inside, close the door, and forget this strange discovery. But something inside him refused. She was alive, but weak, and she would surely die if he left her in the snow. With effort, he lifted her into his arms. She was surprisingly light, lighter than any normal person, as if her bones were hollow. Her skin was cold enough to make his arms ache. Holding her close, he carried her through the door and into the cabin. The fire's glow touched her face as he laid her gently on the old rug near the hearth. He quickly closed the door against the storm, shutting out the freezing wind. The cabin felt warmer again, though her strange glow seemed to mix with the firelight, filling the room with a strange aura. He stared at her, still trying to understand what he had found. Who was she? Where had she come from? Her chest rose and fell slowly, shallow breaths making him nervous. He knelt beside her, trying to warm her with a blanket from his bed. Still, her skin remained icy, and her lips trembled as if she could not hold on to life. For a moment, her eyes flickered open again. This time, she whispered one word in broken English. Warmth. The man froze. Her voice was fragile but clear, and it struck something deep inside him. She needed warmth, more than the fire could give. He leaned closer, trying to hear more, but she had already closed her eyes again, falling into silence. The storm outside roared louder, shaking the windows of the cabin. The fire spat sparks, as if protesting. And in that small wooden room, the man sat beside the glowing, silver-haired stranger, unsure if she was human, angel, or something far beyond. But one thing was certain. His quiet, lonely life in the mountains was over. Something had fallen at his door, something that would change everything. And as he looked at her glowing skin and remembered the strange words she had spoken, a deep unease filled him. Warmth. What kind of warmth did she mean? The question hung in the cabin like a shadow, and the man knew this was only the beginning of something far more dangerous than he could imagine. The storm outside did not rest. Snow slammed against the cabin walls. The wind howled like wolves circling in the night. Inside, the fire still burned, but the strange woman on the rug near the hearth shivered as if no flame could reach her. The man sat close, watching her carefully. Every minute felt longer than the last. He had helped lost hikers before, but never anyone like this. Her skin still glowed faintly, like soft light under ice. Her silver hair spread out across the old blanket, shining with every flicker of firelight. He touched her hand gently. It was still ice cold, almost colder than before. His fingers twitched at the chill, and he pulled his hand back quickly. No human body should feel like that. Suddenly her chest rose sharply, and her silver eyes opened again. The man froze. Her gaze locked onto him. She did not blink. For a moment, he thought she was staring straight through him, as if reading his thoughts. Warmth, she whispered again, her voice soft but stronger than before. The man swallowed hard. He nodded toward the fire. You need heat, he said slowly, unsure if she understood. Fire, it will help. But she shook her head weakly. Her glowing eyes moved back to him, unblinking. Her lips trembled as she tried to form words. Not fire, you. The man's heart thudded in his chest. He stared at her, not sure if he had heard correctly. What do you mean? He whispered. Her hand lifted slowly, shaking as if it weighed 100 pounds. With effort, she touched his chest, right above his heart. The contact was so cold it burned. He gasped and almost pulled away, but her grip tightened with surprising strength. Your warmth, she whispered again, clearer this time. He felt something strange, a pull, as if a thread of energy flowed out of him and into her. His body trembled, his heart raced. He yanked himself free, stumbling back. His chest still tingled where her fingers had touched. What? What are you? He breathed, backing away. Her head tilted slightly, silver hair falling across her face. For a moment she did not answer. Then, in broken English, she whispered, Not from here. The fire cracked loudly, as if reacting to her words. Shadows danced across the wooden walls. The man shook his head in disbelief. He wanted to tell himself she was only delirious, only confused, but deep down he already knew the truth. She was not human. Her voice grew softer, almost like a song. My ship fell. The cold kills me. I need life warmth. Her eyes closed again, as if speaking those words had stolen the last of her strength. She lay still, her breathing shallow, her glow dimming. The man stood frozen in place. His thoughts raced. Ship? Not from here? Life warmth? It sounded like something out of the books he used to read as a child, not real life, yet she was here in his cabin, glowing in the firelight, too cold to survive. He stepped closer again, crouching beside her. He studied her face carefully. She looked almost human, but too perfect, too strange. Her skin was smooth like glass, her features delicate, her silver eyes brighter than any he had ever seen. She was beautiful and terrifying at the same time. He held his hand above her mouth. Her breath was still shallow, weak. He realized she might not live until morning if nothing changed. The storm outside roared louder, as if the mountain itself wanted her gone. He stared at the fire, then at her. The choice tore at him. If he gave her what she wanted, his warmth, his life energy, what would happen to him? Could she take too much? Could she kill him without meaning to? But if he did nothing, she would die right there on his floor. His hand trembled as he reached out again. Slowly, carefully, he touched her arm. The cold pierced his skin, but he didn't pull back this time. He leaned closer, trying to share his body heat. For a moment, nothing happened. Then suddenly, her glow brightened. Her chest rose higher, her breath deepened. She whispered something in her strange language, soft and melodic, before slipping back into silence. The man staggered back, panting. He felt weaker, like he had just run a long distance. His skin was clammy, his chest heavy. But she looked stronger. Her glow was brighter than before, and her lips no longer trembled. He sat down on the floor across from her, breathing hard, his mind filled with questions, but no answers came. Who was she really? Why had she fallen near his cabin? And most of all, what would she do to him once she was strong again? The storm pounded harder on the cabin walls, but inside, silence ruled. Only the sound of the fire and his uneasy breath filled the room. The silver-eyed woman stirred slightly, her lips parting once more. This time her voice was clearer, steadier. They will come. The man's heart skipped a beat. His eyes darted toward the Whitsun Dow, where snow pressed thick against the glass. Who? He asked quickly. But she did not answer. Her eyes had closed again, and she drifted back into an unnatural sleep. The man sat there frozen, the firelight trembling on his face. Something deep inside him whispered that she was not lying. Someone, or something, was searching for her. and if they found her, they would find him too. The night dragged on slowly. The storm outside still howled, but inside the cabin, silence was heavy. The fire's glow cast long shadows, and the man sat awake, staring at the silver-haired woman who now rested on his rug. She looked peaceful for the moment, though her glow still pulsed faintly, like a dim lantern about to fade. Every rise and fall of her chest kept him uneasy. He had given her some of his warmth, and already he felt weaker, but she seemed stronger. Her earlier words echoed in his mind. They will come. Who were they? Hunters? More of her kind? Something worse? He rubbed his hands together nervously. He had always lived in these mountains for peace, for quiet. But now, something impossible had entered his cabin, something that might bring danger far greater than a winter storm. Suddenly, her eyes opened again, bright, silver, glowing. They locked onto him at once, sharp and intense. The man stiffened, his breath caught. "You, help me," she whispered. Her voice was stronger than before, but still carried a strange echo as if two tones spoke at the same time. He swallowed. "I tried. The fire, the blanket, my warmth. I did what I could." Her lips curved slightly, though it was not quite a smile. It was something else, something unreadable. She pushed herself up, sitting weakly, her silver hair falling over her shoulders. "Not enough," she said softly. "I need more. From you." The man's heart pounded. "More? What do you mean?" She leaned closer, her glowing ease. Yes, never leaving his. Her voice was almost like a whisper carried by the wind. "My kind, we cannot live on fire. We take warmth from living hearts, from your life." The words struck him like a blade. His eyes widened and he moved back slightly. "You're saying, you feed on me?" She shook her head gently, silver hair swaying. "Not feed, share. Only a little, enough to live." He stared at her in disbelief. The memory of that strange pull, the energy flowing out of him into her, returned like a nightmare. It had felt wrong, unnatural, and yet it had saved her life. "What happens," he asked carefully, "if I give too much?" Her gaze lowered. For the first time she looked almost ashamed. "Then, you die." The man's chest tightened, his hands curled into fists. "And you expect me to risk that? To let you drain me?" Her eyes lifted again, fierce now, almost glowing brighter with her emotion. "If you do not, I die. And then, they come. They will not stop. They will find me. And you." Her voice trembled with urgency. The man felt a cold wave run through him. She was desperate. And if what she said was true, refusing her meant more than her death. It meant his own doom as well. Still, fear clawed at him. He had lived a life of caution, of survival in the wilderness. He had never trusted strangers easily, let alone someone or something, not even human. "Why me?" he asked finally, his voice low. "Why here? Out of all the places in this world? Why my door?" Her expression softened. She tilted her head as if listening to a sound he could not hear. Then she whispered, "Because your warmth called to me." The words made no sense, but the way she said them, with a strange reverence, unsettled him even more. The cabin creaked in the storm. The fire hissed and spat, shadows moving across her glowing skin. The silence stretched long between them. Finally, she moved closer again, her hand trembling as she reached for him. He flinched but did not move away this time. Her icy fingers touched his chest once more. Instantly, he felt the strang. A pull began again, like invisible threads tugging at his very life. His breath grew shallow, his body weak, but her glow brightened. Her lips parted in relief, her body trembling as if finally tasting life again. "Enough," he gasped, pushing her hand away. She pulled back quickly, guilt flashing in her eyes. "I will not take too much," she promised softly. "Only what I need. You must trust me." The man shook his head, breathing hard. "Trust? You say you could kill me by accident. You say hunters are coming, and now you want me to trust you?" Her eyes narrowed, sharp and sorrowful at the same time. "Without me, you will not survive them. With me, maybe we both live." A cold silence filled the room again. The man's thoughts raced. Was she lying, or was she truly his only chance? Then, outside the window, a faint blue light flickered in the snow. He froze. His eyes darted to the glass. Through the storm, shapes moved, dark shadows, glowing faintly with strange energy. The woman's head snapped toward the window, her silver eyes widened in fear. She whispered a single word in her alien tongue, quick and urgent. Then she turned to him, her voice trembling. "They are here." The storm outside had not ended, but the man no longer cared about the snow. His eyes were fixed on the faint blue glow moving in the distance beyond the window. The shapes in the storm were not human. He could feel it, something unnatural, something searching. Beside him, the silver-haired woman whispered in her strange tongue. Her voice carried both fear and anger. Then she turned to him, her glowing eyes wide. "They hunt me," she said in broken English, her voice sharp. "If they find me here, they will kill you too." The man's heart pounded hard. He stepped back, staring at her. "Why? Why would they kill me? I've done nothing." Her gaze did not soften. "Because you touched me. Because you get me warmth. Now you are marked." The words hit him like ice water. He looked down at his chest, half expecting to see something strange, but only his heartbeat drummed beneath his shirt. Still, her warning made his skin crawl. "Who are they?" he demanded. Her lips tightened. "Hunters. Not like me. They follow. They kill." She paused, her eyes shimmering as if memories of them haunted her. "They fear what I am." The man rubbed his forehead. This was madness. An alien woman glowing on his rug, speaking of hunters in the snow. It was too much. But the blue lights outside, the dark shapes moving through the storm, proved it was not a dream. "What do they want with you?" he asked finally. Her silver eyes met his. "They want me dead. They want my fire gone before it grows." The fire hissed loudly in the hearth, as if echoing her words. The man felt a cold weight settle in his stomach. He walked to the window, pulling the curtains slightly aside. Through the swirling snow, the blue glow grew brighter. Shadows shifted, 3, maybe 4 figures. They moved slowly, scanning the woods, searching carefully. He dropped the curtain quickly. His breath was sharp in his throat. "They're coming closer." The woman pushed herself up, though she still looked weak. Her glow flickered, like a candle about to go out. "You must choose," she whispered. "Hide me, or throw me outside." The man froze. Her words were simple, but heavy. If he hid her, he risked his life. If he threw her out, she would surely die, but maybe the hunters would leave him alone. He looked at her again, her glowing skin, her silver eyes, her trembling body. She looked fragile, but he had already seen her strength. He remembered the way she had pulled warmth from him, the strange power in her touch. She was not helpless, but she was desperate. "Why me?" he whispered. "Why did you come to my door?" She lowered her head. "I did not choose. I fell. My ship broke. The cold would kill me. Only your warmth saved me." Her words cut through him. He had wanted a quiet, simple life, but fate, or chance, had placed her at his door. Outside, a new sound filled the storm. A low hum, mechanical, unnatural. The hunters. The man's chest tightened. His cabin walls felt too thin, too weak to hold back whatever approached. The woman's hand reached for him again, trembling. "If they find me, they will burn this place. They will burn you." Her words chilled him more than the storm. He believed her. Something in her eyes told him she was not lying. "Then what do we do?" he asked, his voice low. Her silver eyes brightened faintly. "I need more warmth. Only then can I hide us both." The man stepped back. "No, you said if I give too much." She interrupted, her voice urgent. "I will take only enough. Trust me. If you do not, we both die when they come." Silence filled the cabin. The fire popped loudly, throwing sparks into the air. His heart hammered as he stared at her trembling figure. Finally, with a shaky breath, he stepped closer. He knelt beside her, his hand hovering above her icy skin. She closed her eyes, waiting. His hand touched hers. The pull came instantly. His chest tightened, his body weakening, but her glow brightened. It spread across her skin like fire through glass. Her voice slipped out in a whisper, soft and strange. "Yes, this will hide us." The man groaned, pulling back before too much was gone. He collapsed against the wall, breathing hard, sweat on his forehead. His body felt heavy, his limbs weak. But when he looked at her, he saw a different sight. Her glow was stronger now, her silver eyes fierce and alive again. She looked less fragile, more dangerous. She stood, slowly but steadily, her glowing skin casting strange light across the cabin walls. She raised her hand, and for a moment the air shimmered, like heat rising off desert sand. "They cannot see us now," she whispered. "Not if I hold to his." The man's eyes widened. She was using the warmth he had given her, turning it into something powerful, something unnatural. But then, outside the cabin, a heavy knock shook the wooden door. The sound echoed like thunder. The hunters had arrived. The woman's eyes locked onto his. Silver fire blazed in her gaze. "Stay quiet, or we are both dead." The cabin door shook under the force of the knock. It was not the knock of a man. It was heavy, sharp, and strange, as if metal itself demanded to be let in. The man froze where he stood, his heart hammering inside his chest. The silver-haired woman stood in the center of the room now, her glow faint but steady. Her hand was raised slightly, her silver eyes burning like small moons. She turned her head toward the door and whispered, "They are here." The man swallowed hard. "What do they want?" Her voice was low, urgent. "Me. If they find me, they kill us both." Another knock came, louder this time. The old wooden walls trembled, dust falling from the rafters. Then a voice cut through the storm outside. It was not human. It was cold, metallic, echoing in a way that rattled the man's bones. "Return her, or burn." The man's breath caught. The words were in English, but broken, harsh. Whoever, or whatever, stood outside knew exactly who was inside. He turned to the glowing woman. "What do they mean? Why do they want you?" Her eyes flicked toward him, sharp and urgent. "Because I carry fire they fear. If I live, they lose their hunt. They will not let me escape." The door shook again, this time not with a knock but with a push. The wood groaned under the weight. The man rushed forward and braced it with his shoulder, though he knew it would not hold forever. He hissed at her through clenched teeth. "Then stop them. You have power. Use it." Her face twisted with conflict. "I need more warmth. I am not strong enough." The man's stomach dropped. Again the same request, more of his life, his strength. He had already given so much, but the hunters were seconds away from breaking in. Before he could answer, the door shuddered violently. A crack split through the wood, blue light spilling into the cabin like fireflies escaping a jar. The metallic voice returned, louder now. "Human, she is not yours. Step aside." The man's throat tightened. He shouted back through the door, "Why should I? Who are you?" The answer was a hiss that cut through the storm. "We are the end of her kind." The woman stepped closer, her hand resting on his arm. Her touch was still icy, but steadier now. She leaned in and whispered, "If they take me, they will not stop with me. They will burn this place. They will burn your world." Her words cut into him like knives. He looked into her glowing silver eyes and saw fear, but also a strange hope. The cabin walls shook again. With a final crash, the door split open. Wood splintered and flew across the room. The storm rushed in, and with it came the hunters. 3 tall figures stepped inside. Their bodies were covered in dark armor, smooth and sharp like stone carved from shadows. Blue lines glowed across their chests and helmets, pulsing like veins of light. Their eyes, if they had any, were hidden behind dark glass. The man stumbled back, his breath caught in his throat. These were not men, not even close. The tallest one raised a hand, and the glow on its chest burned brighter. Its voice came again, metallic and cold. "Step away from her, now." The woman moved quickly. She grabbed the man's hand, pulling him behind her. Her glow flared brighter, silver light spilling across the wooden walls. "She is dangerous," the tallest hunter said. "She drains life. She will drain yours. Give her to us, and you live." The man's head spun. His eyes darted between the woman holding his hand and the hunter standing in his cabin. One promised death. The other demanded trust. He could not tell which was worse. The woman's voice rang out louder than before. "They lie. They fear me. If I die, their fire spreads. If I live, I stop them." The hunters stepped forward, the floor creaking under their weight. Their blue glow filled the room, pushing against her silver light. The man felt torn in two. His body trembled from weakness. His mind screamed at him to choose. The hunters promised safety if he betrayed her. The woman promised doom if he did not help. The air grew heavy, almost alive, as the silver and blue lights clashed. The fire in the hearth roared higher, sparks leaping like frightened birds. The tallest hunter raised its arm again, a weapon formed from its armor, glowing bright, humming with deadly energy. "Step aside, human," it said. "This is your last chance." The man gritted his teeth, his body shaking. He looked at the woman beside him, her silver hair glowing, her eyes burning with desperation. Then he looked at the hunters, cold, merciless, ready to kill. The storm outside howled louder, as if the mountain itself was holding its breath. And then, in the heart of the cabin, caught between silver fire and blue shadow, the man knew. Whatever choice he made would change not just his life, but everything. The cabin trembled under the weight of silence. On one side stood the silver-haired woman, glowing faintly, her eyes burning like molten silver. On the other side, the three armored hunters, their blue lights humming with deadly power. The man stood in the middle, his breath short, his body weak from what she had already taken. The tallest hunter's weapon glowed brighter, its voice sharp and metallic. She is not what you think. She drains life. She will drain yours until nothing remains. The man's stomach tightened. His eyes flicked toward her. She did not move, but her grip on his arm tightened, as if she feared he might believe the hunters. They lie, she whispered urgently. They fear me because I hold what they cannot control. If I die, you all die. If I live, there is hope. The words twisted inside his mind. Lies. Truth. He could not tell. The hunters stepped forward, their heavy boots cracking the wooden floor. The blue light spread wider, filling the small cabin. The silver-haired woman raised her hand, and her glow sharpened into a silver shield that shimmered like liquid glass. The two lights clashed, filling the room with a strange storm of shadows and sparks. Human, the second hunter said, its voice low and rumbling. She is a parasite. You feel it already. Weakness in your bones, cold in your blood. She takes, and she will not stop. The man shivered. They were right. He did feel weaker, his chest heavy, his limbs trembling. But had she truly stolen too much, or was that only fear? The woman's voice cut through the hum of the hunter's weapons. I take only what I must. Without it, I die. And if I die, they burn your world. They have done it before. I escape to warn, to fight. The tallest hunter hissed like grinding steel. Lies. She brings ruin, not salvation. Give her to us, and we leave your world untouched. The man's mind spun. Both sides spoke with certainty. Both sounded believable, and both terrified him. He staggered back, pressing against the wall. Why me? Why this cabin? Why bring me into this at all? The woman's silver eyes turned soft, almost sorrowful. Because you were there. Because you opened the door. Fate chose you. The hunters moved closer. Their leader pointed its weapon at her. Blue sparks danced across the cabin walls. This is your final chance, human. Step aside. The man's breath shook. He looked at her, then at them. What if they're right? He asked, his voice low, almost breaking. What if you really are dangerous? What if you kill me without meaning to? Her glow dimmed for a moment, and for the first time she looked almost human, fragile. Her voice came soft, almost pleading. I cannot promise safety, but I pee. Romi's truth. Without me, they will not stop. They will burn forests, rivers, cities. They will take all warmth until nothing lives. I am not perfect, but I am your only chance. The man's hands trembled. He remembered the way her touch had burned like ice, the way his strength had bled into her. He remembered the dizzy weakness, the heavy chest. But he also remembered the glow in her eyes when she grew strong, the way she shielded him when the hunters broke in. The hunters raised their weapons higher, glowing brighter, humming like thunder. The woman's glow flared again, silver fire surrounding her. The cabin groaned under the clash of power. The man covered his ears, his body shaking. Stop, both of you, he shouted. For a moment, silence returned. The hunters froze. The woman lowered her hand, but her silver eyes never left theirs. The man's voice broke as he looked at the hunters. If she's so dangerous, why haven't you killed her already? Why chase? Why talk? The hunters said nothing at first. Then the tallest one answered, its voice quieter now. Because she is not like the others. She carries more fire than any of her kind. Too much. If she burns everything. The woman's face darkened. Her eyes flashed, anger burning within them. No. If I burn, I stop you. The man's chest tightened. His mind was a storm of doubt. Were they hunting her because she was a monster? Or because she was the only one strong enough to fight them? The hunters moved again, circling. The woman raised her silver light, shielding both herself and the man. Sparks cracked in the air where the two forces collided. The tallest hunter spoke again, its voice sharp. Choose, human. Her or your world. The words cut deep. His throat went dry. He could not escape this. He had to choose. His eyes locked with hers, her silver glow reflected in his pupils, and in that moment, he saw both hope and danger in her. She was not lying. She needed him. But the hunter's words echoed too. She could kill him. She could kill everyone. The fire in the hearth roared, higher, as if the cabin itself awaited his decision. The man's hands clenched into fists. His voice trembled, but it was steady enough to be heard over the storm. Then tell me the truth, all of it. What are you really? What is this fire you carry? The woman's glow flared bright, filling the cabin with blinding silver light. Her voice rose, not in a whisper now, but in a cry that shook the walls. I am the last of my kind. I carry the warmth of stars, and if I fall, the hunters claim your world." The man staggered back, his eyes wide. The hunters hissed in rage, raising their weapons to strike. The silver-haired woman stood tall, her glow blazing brighter than ever before. And the man finally understood, whatever she was, whatever danger she carried, his choice would decide the fate of more than just himself. The cabin had become a battlefield of light. Silver radiance pulsed from the woman, filling every corner like a storm of stars. Blue fire burned from the hunters, humming with deadly energy. The man stood in the middle, trapped between forces that should never have touched his world. His chest ached, his legs trembled, and his breath came ragged. He had no weapon, no power, only a choice that grew heavier with every heartbeat. The hunters stepped closer, their armor glowing brighter. The tallest raised its weapon, pointing it straight at the silver-haired woman. "This ends now," it growled, metallic and sharp. But she stood unflinching, her glow blazing, her voice ringing out like fire on steel. "If I fall, your fire spreads. If I live, I fight you." The man pressed his hands to his head. Both sides demanded his decision, and both sides promised destruction. His mind screamed, who could he trust? He remembered her icy touch, the way his strength had drained when she pulled his warmth. He remembered the hunter's words, parasite, dangerous, death. He also remembered her silver eyes, glowing with desperation, and the way she shielded him when they broke in. He was only a man in a mountain cabin. But somehow the world had landed at his door. The hunters raised their weapons higher, blue light vibrating like thunder in the small wooden room. The silver-haired woman spread her hands, her glow burning hot enough to make the man's skin prickle. The fire in the hearth roared wildly, sparks jumping high as if even the flames feared what was coming. "Choose!" the hunters thundered together. "Trust me," the woman whispered, her voice trembling but strong. The man's chest rose and fell quickly. Sweat dripped down his forehead. His fists clenched. Finally he shouted, "Stop!" The cabin shook with the force of his cry. For a single heartbeat, both silver and blue froze. The hunters halted, their weapons still glowing. The woman lowered her hands slightly, her silver eyes searching his face. The man's voice trembled, but he forced the words out. "If I give you my warmth, if I risk my life, do you promise to save this world?" Her silver glow flickered, softer now, almost like a candle in the dark. She nodded slowly, her voice breaking. "Yes, I cannot promise I will not hurt you, but I promise I will fight for your world as if it is my own." The hunters hissed in unison, their voices like blades cutting air. "Lies. She cannot control it. Once she burns, nothing survives. Not you, not your world, only ash." The man's heart slammed in his chest, his mind raced, torn in two. Then, outside the cabin, the storm shifted. For the first time he saw the forest beyond, the trees glowing faintly blue, frost spreading across the trunks. The hunter's presence was already poisoning the land. He gasped. They were not bluffing. If they stayed, the mountain itself would die. His eyes darted back to the woman. Her glow was fierce, alive, but not destructive. She had taken from him, yes, but she had not killed him. She had kept her word so far. The choice burned inside him. Stepped forward, standing between the hunters and the silver-haired woman. His voice shook, but it was steady enough to carry through the storm. "I choose her." The hunters roared in rage, their weapons blazing. Blue fire shot across the room, but in that instant, the woman's glow flared brighter than ever before. She wrapped him in silver light, shielding him completely. The blue fire struck her shield, exploding into sparks. The cabin shook violently, the walls cracking, the windows shattering. The hunters pressed forward, their power burning like a second storm inside the room. The woman screamed, her silver light blazing into a sphere that pushed outward. The hunters stumbled back as if struck by invisible hands, their armor cracked, their blue lights flickering. She held the shield firm, her face twisted with effort, her body trembling as if it might break apart. The man felt her icy hand slip into his again, pulling warmth, pulling strength. He groaned, his knees buckling, but he did not let go. Her glow surged higher, brighter, blinding. The hunters cried out in metallic rage as the silver light tore through them like a storm of stars. One by one, their blue glow shattered, their bodies collapsing into the snow outside like broken statues. And then, silence. The storm itself seemed to stop. The air inside the cabin calmed. Only the faint crackle of the broken fire remained. The man fell to his knees, gasping, barely able to stand. His strength was nearly gone, but when he lifted his eyes, he saw her still standing, glowing faintly, her silver hair falling across her face. She looked down at him, her expression unreadable. Slowly, she whispered, "You chose, and now the path is set." His chest ached as he tried to breathe. Did we win?" Her silver eyes softened. "For now, but the hunters are many. This is only the beginning." The man swallowed hard, his head spinning. His quiet mountain life was gone forever. He had chosen her, and with that choice came a war far greater than he had ever imagined. The woman knelt beside him, brushing a strand of silver hair from her face. Her voice was gentle, almost tender. "Rest. I will protect you. As long as I can." The man's vision blurred, his body heavy with exhaustion. But before he slipped into darkness, he heard her final whisper, soft and haunting. "Your warmth is now mine, and through it, your world will live or burn."